to come see Windsor.
Thank you. Somebody's got to do the job of the government. Speaker, in a July 21st, 2013 confidential memo to the Premier on the girder issue, it states, and I quote, "There has been some chatter about this situation in Windsor construction circles, and we understand the Windsor Star may be coming out with a story on this matter this week. It may break during the Premier's visit to Windsor on July 22nd, end of quotes. Minister, why did this government fail to take action for months on public safety and allow the faulty girders to be installed and only acted when a scandal was about to break that could put 5 Liberal seats at risk in impending by-elections?"
Minister.
Thank you. I'm going to try this again really slowly, Mr. Speaker. The paper trail is very clear, as are the discussions. There were active conversations about this project and any other. To be very clear, there was no discussion, not a word iota of discussion of safety issues or briefings until June 19th with politicians, because I was the first one. The reason those discussions happened is because I heard rumors in May that there may be a problem. I did not hear those rumors inside government. I heard it from meeting with stakeholder groups who asked me to investigate. The first week of June, I went to my deputy ministers, both of them, and asked them if they knew anything. They both said clearly that they were not aware of any particular safety concerns. Both of them undertook a review, and 2 weeks later, I was briefed that the things I had heard, they have merit. Finally, Mr. Speaker, we had an independent review which tried to decide whether or not those safety issues were consequential, and that was very public, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Thank you, Speaker. We know from internal correspondence that this government didn't act on public safety concerns for 7 months after it knew girders on the Herb Gray Parkway were faulty. This government only acted after political staff found out that the Windsor Star was asking questions about girder safety, and the Premier might be confronted with a question on her scheduled visit to Windsor. Had the Windsor Star not been investigating these girders, would these unsafe girders continue to be quietly installed to this very day?
Minister.
So, Mr. Speaker, you know, there is, both of us come from a municipal background. In a municipal background, you do not attribute motive. As a matter of fact, you're thrown out of a council chamber for attributing motive. So, I'll just say,
that'll do.
I had almost no weekends away with my family through this period of time because I was working on this through the entire summer. Mr. Speaker, as late as August, senior officials were not convinced that there were safety concerns, including the engineering. It was only when we did the destructive testing. But, Mr. Speaker, the member has the note from the officials that he did not release that tells the public that what you're saying is so inaccurate it bears no resemblance to the actual events, Mr. Speaker. So if you want to read this document where the officials say prior to June there was zero, not a word of discussion about safety.
Member from Nepean Carleton will come to order, and now we'll hear a new question. Final supplementary.
Thank you, Speaker. The Premier, when she was the Minister of Transportation, awarded the project agreement for the Windsor-Essex Parkway through alternate financing procurement, a fancy name for privatizing public projects. According to internal documents, this government prioritized the Premier's contract with a private consortium over the ability for MTO to enforce public safety rules. Why did this government set up a project agreement that threatened public safety?
Minister.
It is, first, patently inaccurate. I don't want to use unparliamentary language, but there's another word that's floating around in my head, Mr. Speaker.
Don't use it, Glenn.
The reality is there were absolutely no concerns around safety through that particular period of time. The first person to raise a safety issue at the ministerial level was myself, based on concerns that were given. I will not read into the record again the bureaucrat note, the official's note on this. Mr. Speaker, the member has been given a full and honest answer. I've always respected him as a person with integrity. I would like to point out that all of the documentation shows that the first safety discussion with me was on June 19th, and I took more than strong action and more than immediately, Mr. Speaker.